welcome back to another video. Today in this video I'm going to show you how to color a pumpkin, and I chose a pumpkin in Maria Trolle's Botanicum. There was a really cute pumpkin in this book. He has the cutouts in his face like a Halloween pumpkin, so I really wanted to be able to create a pumpkin where the eyes and the mouth really glow rather than doing just your typical pumpkin. So this one looks more like a Halloween pumpkin, so I thought that would be a lot of fun. I don't know where I'm going to end up going with this. I have chosen some colors. I don't know if I'm going to pull in more colors or even use all of the colors that I chose. I will share all of the colors before I start coloring so that if you want to grab your pencils, you can do that and follow along with the tutorial. If you check the description box down below, you'll find links down there to my Etsy shop, my email list, my Facebook group, and my Patreon if you would like to support me there. I also now have channel membership. You can find out more about that by clicking the join button down below. This is the pumpkin that I'm going to attempt to color. I thought he was really adorable. This is more of a Halloween themed page, but I thought it was really cute, and I thought this would be a really fun tutorial and really helpful for all of you that are coloring pumpkins in your coloring pages now, since we are in the month of October and Halloween is right around the corner. Now, I have colored pumpkins on my channel before, and the one pumpkin that I did was also in this book, but I used Derwent Inktense, and that pumpkin looks much more muted rather than more vibrant. And for this one, since he's a Halloween pumpkin, I really want to make him pop, so I did pick some much brighter colors to use on him. So for the main part of the pumpkin, these are the colors that I have. I have yellowed orange and sunburst orange. They're both very bright colors. Then I have cadmium orange hue, and then I have orange, which is also a very bright color. And the rest of the colors are a little bit more muted, and I'm sort of mixing the two because I want the shadows to really stand out so that we could create that look where he's just popping off the page. So I have cadmium orange hue. This one is my pumpkin orange. It's PC 1032. It's so tiny that you can't even see the name on it anymore, but I had to use pumpkin orange for a pumpkin, right? The next one is Sienna Brown, and then my last one is chocolate, because we always have to have a brown for the shadows and to create that extra added depth. So those are the colors for the pumpkin, and then my colors for the eyes and then the mouth to create that little bit of glow on the pumpkin are lemon yellow, deco yellow, cream, and then I grabbed my Holbein white just in case I needed to add that extra pop of white. So I went ahead and picked up canary yellow as well, because I'm wondering if I'm going to want an extra pop of yellow in the main part of the pumpkin before I get to the eyes and the mouth. But I'm going to start coloring with just the brightest colors that I have, and then I'm going to come in with the darker tones. I just want to start by preserving some of these spaces here with my brighter colors. And oh gosh, this canary yellow is so pretty. I may even be able to use this color for the mouth or the eyes, but I thought for a second about just using the white of the paper to create the highlights in the pumpkin, but I want him to be just a little bit darker and brighter, so I didn't think that was going to work, so that's why I went ahead and grabbed the canary yellow. I'm just preserving parts of the pumpkin where I want to be able to see just a little bit of a highlight. But now I have Sunburst Yellow, and I'm going to blend this color right into the canary yellow. And in some places you'll notice that I'm coloring right over it. So now I'm starting to wonder if I even need the yellowed orange, because the yellowed orange, it's a little bit brighter than the sunburst yellow. I'm going to set the yellow orange aside, and I'm going to go right to the orange. And I'm just going to add this color in and around the other colors, and you'll see me blend it in some places as well. And right now I am using rather light pressure. Now this is also going to act as a first layer here where I'm coming down in these areas right around the eyes, and I'm going to do the same thing right around the mouth as well. And I'm going to try to stay out of those areas where I laid the yellow. In some places I may blend right into it, and I am going to have to come back with a darker color and lay it right over the orange. But I think I do really like having that extra pop of yellow in there. And then you'll see when I start coming back with the darkest colors how much that changes and how much it really just makes it pop. Down in this area here, I didn't leave a whole lot of space for the yellow because I've got this pumpkin laying over here and all of this area is a little bit closer to the ground, so I would imagine that a lot less light is going to be hitting in this area. So I'm probably going to come back and lay a lot of my darker colors right over these areas here. And then over here as well, where I have this other pumpkin laying right over this one, I'm going to do the same thing. And then anywhere where I have his eyes laying over the other part of the pumpkin, or his mouth laying over the other part of the pumpkin, I really want to make sure I get my darker colors in those areas, and you'll see how I do that when I start to grab the other colors. So down here at the bottom, where the pumpkin would be touching the ground, I'm just trying to make this just a little bit darker and add another layer of the orange. And then of course I'm going to come back again and lay the other darker colors over it. Okay, so I'm going to set aside the 3 colors that I used for highlights, and I'm going to grab the 2 colors that I chose that are a little bit more muted. I'm going to start with the cadmium orange hue, and I'm going to start to lay some of this color right over the orange. So I do want a lot more of this in these areas down here where the pumpkin is touching the ground, and then around where the mouth is, and the nose and the eyes. But when I come in with my even darker colors, and especially the brown, you're going to see a huge difference. I especially want some of this color anywhere that you see the lines in the pumpkin. This is what's going to help me to create all that extra added depth and dimension by going around the eyes and around the mouth and of course the nose. So I'm coming over here where I've got this line, and then on the outside where I really want to make the pumpkin start to really pop off the page. You can see as I start to go over some of those lines on the pumpkin how it just creates a little bit more depth. So remember, the pumpkin we're coloring is laying behind this little pumpkin right here and this pumpkin here. So these areas all in here are generally going to be quite a bit darker. So I may not want to keep a whole lot of the yellow highlights in those areas. So I did come up in here and I laid a very little bit of the canary yellow in that little tiny spot right there. And then I took my cadmium orange hue and I filled in all of the other areas. So I'm just going to come in and add some of the orange in over here to blend in with that cadmium orange hue. And I just wanted a little tiny bit of canary yellow right there. If I decide I want any more highlights in the top part of the pumpkin, I can always come back with a white Posca or a gel pen. Now I have my little teeny tiny pumpkin orange, and I'm going to use this to start creating a lot of added depth and dimension and maybe a little bit of texture here in our pumpkin. So I'm going to add a second layer with this color in all of the areas where I laid the previous color, and this is going to darken it up just a little. And then when I come back with my Sienna Brown, it's going to make a huge difference. So I think I'm going to go ahead and come back and start adding in the Sienna Brown so that I can get a better idea of the placement of my colors and see how much depth I can create with this, because I don't think that the pumpkin orange was creating enough depth over the other colors. And I think the Sienna Brown is actually doing that for us. So again, I'm just going to go over all the areas where I want the extra added depth and dimension, and I'm just trying to create a little bit of texture at the same time. But this color is actually doing a really good job of creating that extra added depth and dimension that we need, and it's really starting to make our pumpkin come to life just a little bit more. So I am going to need quite a bit of this darker color over here where the eye is. I really want to make that eye glow and stand out and pop, and the difference in the value of the colors is what's going to do that for me. But I feel like this color is making a huge difference. And then over here where we have this pumpkin sitting in front of the one that we're coloring, we want to make sure we have quite a bit of our darkest color right in there to create that effect or that illusion. And then over here again, we've got this pumpkin laying over the one we're coloring, so we want to make sure we get plenty of this color right in there. And then down in here where we've got the pumpkin laying on the ground, we want to make sure we get quite a bit of that color in there as well. And we are going to have to come back and go over some of these colors so that we could get a really nice blend of them. Okay, so that made quite a bit of difference. And now before I go ahead and grab my chocolate, I'm going to come back and start with my pumpkin orange, and then I'm going to go down from the darkest midtone to the lightest one, and start adding in some more color here and creating a little bit more of a blend with some of the colors now that I have an idea of color placement. Some of these areas where I have the canary yellow, you may see me go over some of those areas because I am deciding now that I don't want as much of a highlight in some of those places. And now this pumpkin orange is really going to work for us because I have that Sienna Brown laid in all of the areas where I want it, and now I can just go over it and make that tone of brown disappear for the most part and create a blend of these two colors, which is the look that I was going for. And then I want to be able to blend out some of these areas where you can see some harsher lines, and you can see that I am actually going into some of the places where I laid that yellow as well. So like over here, you can see that it looks pretty brown from that Sienna Brown, and so I'm just going over it and making it look more orange. So hopefully now that the pumpkin is starting to come together a little bit more, you can see how the brighter tones that I used are blending in really well with the tones that are more muted and darker. I'm going to come back with my Sunburst Yellow, and I'm going to bring back some more of that brightness with this color. And look at what a difference this is going to make. This color is just so pretty and so bright and so vibrant. Now we have the canary yellow, and I'm just going to come in here and add this pop wherever I feel like it's needed. I want quite a bit of it right here in this area, right in front of the pumpkin. And look how it's just laying down and blending right into all those other colors. This color is so pretty. And then just a tiny bit right in here, and then just that little pop right here. So I'm going to come back and start laying this chocolate all over the entire pumpkin in all of the areas where I have these lines, or right around the mouth and the nose and the eyes. And you're going to be able to see it just start to really raise off the page as I do this. I'm going to speed it up to music so that you could watch it all come together really fast and the pumpkin just come to life. And then we're going to come back and we are going to add all the highlights and the glow to the eyes and the nose and the mouth. I'm just going to go ahead and color in the top part of the pumpkin. I've got pale sage, Kelly green, and marine green. And so we're just going to do this part really quickly. And this was actually one of my color combinations that I shared in my color combination video. If you haven't seen that video where I did fall inspired color combinations, I'll go ahead and link that in the upper right hand corner so you could check that one out. Okay, so we need to go ahead and color in his teeth because that's not where the glow is going to be. The glow is going to be behind the teeth. I have orange, and I'm just going to shade in the front of each one of these teeth. I'm not going to use any of the yellows because I want the yellows to be able to stand out behind the teeth. And then probably up here, I want some orange on his eyes. Let's go ahead and grab that yellow to orange, the one that I had set aside. And I believe this one is just a bit brighter. And so I'm going to come in here and fill in some of these areas here and just blend them in. And I'm going to use the Sienna Brown here just to create a little bit of shadow since this is the side of his teeth. So it looks like the two brightest Prisma colors we have are the Canary Yellow and the Deco Yellow. So we're going to try those and see what happens here. Yeah, I think I want the Canary Yellow to be right in here and then maybe on this side. And I'm not bringing it all the way out because I might want to add some of the Sunburst Yellow in there. Let's go ahead and add it to the eyes and to the nose. And then I want the Deco Yellow more towards the center and up here in the eyes. So the Sunburst Yellow was the brightest of the two, so I'm going to add just a little bit of that in here and over here on the ends. And I'm just blending it right into those other colors. Okay, now I have the cream and I'm adding a little bit of that in here. This is the Sunburst Yellow. I think we need just a bit more of the Canary Yellow, because this is our really bright yellow. And then our Sunburst Yellow. Okay, so I don't think with those colors it was glowing quite enough. So I grabbed my Neon Yellow, and we're gonna see if this will make a little bit of a difference here. I think that made it stand out just a little bit more. I'm just blending this color into the other colors that I used. Okay, so let's see if we could add a little bit of a highlight with the white Holbein right here in the center to make it pop just a little bit more. And I may grab my Posca. Okay, so I have my Posca, and I'm just going to go over some of these areas and create quite a bit more of a pop and blend it right into that yellow. And then right here on the nose, I went ahead and grabbed my yellow Posca, and I'm going to add a little bit of this in here. Okay, y'all, so the glowy Halloween pumpkin is done, and I did have to come back and try a whole lot of different things to create that glow in the eyes and the nose and the mouth. And you can see that I did come back with the Posca. I tried the yellow Posca, I tried the white Posca, and I ended up just laying the Posca down and then coming back over with my brightest color, which was the canary yellow, and going over that. I also went over it again with the neon yellow, and with the combination of those few things, I think I was able to create a glowy effect in the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. Your Posca pens are a great coloring supply to have to be able to add all of that extra pop of color or highlight. You can use the colored ones like this. They come in a pack of, I think, 8 or something like that. I'll link these down below if you're looking for the colored Poscas. But the white Poscas are fantastic too, and they're wonderful because you can come back and just layer colored pencils right back over them, and it sort of takes away the black lines and it creates a different color. If I lay down the white Posca, then I come back over it with a really bright color. It tends to make the color of my pencil, even the canary yellow that is already very bright and the neon yellow that's already very bright, it tends to make them pop just a little bit more because they're on top of white rather than the color of the coloring book paper, which in this coloring book, it's not a white white or a bright white. Now, if I was doing this on the tone tan paper, you would see this pop all over the place. But I hope y'all enjoyed this tutorial. Everything that you've seen in this video will be linked down in the description box below. I hope y'all have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video. Happy coloring. Bye.